Have you ever woken from a dream so real it felt like destiny? A moment where the veil of the ordinary lifts and you glimpse something profound? That's what happened to Jetsunma Tenzin Palmo. One night, her teacher appeared in a vision, his words so vivid they reshaped her world. But here's the question. What if that vision wasn't just for her? What if it holds a secret for you, a path to inner peace, purpose, and awakening? For those new to Buddhism, this isn't just a story. It's an invitation to discover the light within you. In the next few minutes, we'll unravel how one dream can spark a journey that changes everything. Curious? Stay with us to find out how this wisdom can transform your life. Hit the subscribe button, and let's step into the journey together. The Vision Unveiled. The air was thick with the scent of sandalwood, curling in delicate spirals from the incense burner at the edge of the meditation hall. Jetsunma Tenzin Palmo sat cross-legged, her breath a soft rhythm, each inhale weaving her deeper into the stillness of the night. Her mind, usually a vast lake of clarity, shimmered with something new. A subtle pulse, a spark of anticipation that felt like a secret whispered by the universe itself. Have you ever felt it? That moment when the world seems to pause, as if it's about to unveil something extraordinary? That's where she was, teetering on the edge of the ordinary and the divine, her heart thrumming with a quiet thrill that urged her to stay, to listen, to surrender. The hall was silent, save for the faint crackle of the incense and the distant call of a night bird. Tenzin Palmo's eyes were closed, but her awareness stretched wide, like a lotus unfurling under moonlight. She wasn't seeking anything, not tonight. Years of practice had taught her that seeking could be its own trap, a restless chase that scattered the mind. Instead, she rested in the present, letting each moment bloom and dissolve. But something was coming. She felt it, not as a thought but as a warmth, a gentle tug at the edges of her consciousness, like a child pulling at a parent's sleeve. What happens when the universe decides to speak? Do you turn away, or do you lean in, heart pounding, knowing you're about to be changed? And then it happened. The boundary between waking and dreaming blurred, as if the veil of reality had grown gossamer thin. She was no longer in the meditation hall, or perhaps she was, but it was different now. A vast expanse of light, soft and golden, pulsing with a life of its own. Before her stood her teacher, her guru, his presence so vivid it felt more real than the world she'd left behind. His eyes, deep and boundless, held her in a gaze that was both a mirror and a map. "Tenzin," he said, his voice a low hum that vibrated through her bones, "you've been walking the path, but now you must leap." A leap? The word sparked something in her. A rush, a flicker of excitement that danced along her spine. Have you ever stood at the edge of a choice, knowing it could unravel everything you thought you were? He gestured, and the golden light parted like mist, revealing a path winding through a forest of towering trees, their leaves shimmering with dew that caught the light like tiny stars. Each step she took felt electric, as if the ground itself was alive, whispering secrets through her feet. Her teacher walked beside her, silent now, but his presence was a current, pulling her forward. She wanted to ask where they were going, what this leap meant, but the questions dissolved in the face of something greater, a knowing that this moment was a gift, a rare alignment of heart and cosmos. The path curved, and suddenly they stood before a cliff, its edge dropping into a sea of clouds that swirled with colors she'd never seen. Her heart raced, not with fear, but with a wild, uncontainable joy. What would you do, standing at such an edge with the wind singing of possibilities? "Look," her teacher said, pointing to the clouds. As she gazed, they shifted, forming shapes. Faces, moments, fragments of lives she recognized and others she didn't. Her own face appeared, younger, eyes bright with questions she'd long since answered, and then older, lined with wisdom she hadn't yet earned. The clouds were a tapestry of time, weaving past, present, and future into a single, breathtaking now. "This is the leap," he said, "not away from the world, but into it, into the heart of suffering, love, and awakening." The words landed like sparks, igniting something deep within her. She felt it, a surge of clarity, a rush of purpose that made her want to laugh, to cry, to run forward all at once. Can you feel it now, that pull to dive into something bigger than yourself? The vision deepened. The clouds parted, and she saw a village below, nestled in a valley where the air shimmered with the prayers of its people. She saw hands working, hearts breaking, and eyes lifting to the sky in search of meaning. Her teacher's voice was soft now, almost a whisper. "You've learned to sit in silence, Tenzin, but silence is only the beginning. The path is in the world, in the mess and the beauty. Go there, be there, love there." Each word was a pulse, a wave of warmth that flooded her with a longing to act, to move, to carry this light into the places where it was needed most. The village glowed, calling her, and she felt her heart answer, a fierce, radiant yes that made her want to leap right then and there. Have you ever felt a call so strong it feels like your soul is already running toward it? But the vision wasn't done with her yet. Her teacher raised a hand, and the scene shifted again. Now they stood in a cave, its walls carved with ancient symbols that pulsed with a rhythm like a heartbeat. At its center was a pool of water, so still it mirrored the universe itself. "Look into it," he said. She knelt, her breath catching as she saw not just her reflection but countless others. Faces of those she'd known, those she'd yet to meet, all connected by threads of light. "This is the truth of the leap," her teacher said. "You are not alone. Every step you take ripples through all beings. Every act of compassion, every moment of courage, it weaves the world anew." The realization hit her like a wave, thrilling and humbling, making her want to stay in this moment forever, to drink in its truth. Isn't it intoxicating to know your smallest actions could echo through eternity? The cave faded, and they were back in the golden light, her teacher's eyes still holding hers. "You've seen the path, Tenzin. Now walk it, not with effort, but with joy. Let each step be an offering." His words were a melody, each note pulling her deeper into a resolve that felt like fire in her veins. She wanted to ask how, to grasp at details, but the vision was shifting, the light softening, and she felt herself returning to the meditation hall. The incense still burned, the night birds still called, but everything was different now. Her heart pounded with a purpose so vivid it was almost a taste, a scent, a song. She opened her eyes and the world felt new, alive with possibility, humming with the same energy that had carried her through the dream. What would it feel like to wake up to a world that's calling you to leap? As she sat there, the first rays of dawn crept through the window, painting the floor in soft gold. The vision lingered, not as a memory, but as a living current, urging her to move, to act, to carry the light she'd been shown. The village, the faces, the pool, they were all waiting, not in some distant dream, but in the world she walked every day. She smiled, a quiet thrill running through her, knowing this was only the beginning. The path was clear, the leap was hers to take, and every step would be a dance with the divine. And can you feel it too? That spark, that pull, that whisper of a life waiting to unfold. Stay with it. Let it carry you. The journey has just begun. Threads of the heart. The dawn light had barely settled in the meditation hall when Jetsunma Tenzin Palmo rose, her body humming with the residue of the dream that wasn't a dream. The air felt charged, as if the golden glow of her vision had seeped into the world, painting the edges of reality with a vibrancy that made her pulse quicken. She stepped outside, the cool mountain air brushing her skin like a lover's whisper, and stood at the threshold of the nunnery, gazing at the valley below. The village, from her vision, lay there, its rooftops catching the first glints of sunlight, each one a tiny beacon calling her forward. Have you ever stood at the edge of something new, your heart racing with the promise of what's to come, knowing you can't turn back? She began her descent, her steps light but deliberate, each one a quiet vow to follow the path her teacher had shown her. The trail wound through pine-scented forests, the trees standing like silent sentinels, their branches swaying as if nodding in approval. The world felt alive, conspiratorial, as if it were whispering, "Go on, keep going, see what unfolds." The thrill of it coursed through her, a steady pulse of excitement that made her want to laugh, to run, to embrace every moment of this unfolding mystery. The village grew closer, its sounds, children's laughter, the clatter of pots, the low chant of morning prayers, reaching her like a song she'd always known but only now remembered. Isn't it electric, the way a single moment can feel like it's been waiting for you forever? As she entered the village, faces turned toward her, curious, warm, some shy, others bold. An old woman, her hands gnarled from years of weaving, pressed a cup of buttered tea into Tenzin's hands, her eyes crinkling with a smile that felt like an invitation. "You've come," she said, as if she'd been expecting her. Tenzin's heart skipped, a spark of recognition flaring. Had she seen this woman in the clouds of her vision? The tea was warm, its salt and richness grounding her. Yet the moment felt like it was lifting her, too, into something vast and unspoken. She sipped, and the village seemed to open around her. Each glance, each gesture, a thread in the tapestry her teacher had shown her. Can you feel it? That rush when the world seems to know you, to welcome you into its secret heart? She followed the old woman through the village, past houses of stone and mud, where prayer flags fluttered like colorful birds against the sky. The woman led her to a small courtyard where a group of children sat, their faces bright with curiosity. One girl, no older than 10, with braids tight as ropes, stepped forward and tugged at Tenzin's robe. "Are you here to tell us stories?" she asked, her eyes wide with hope. Tenzin laughed, the sound surprising her with its lightness, and knelt to meet the girl's gaze. "Maybe," she said, "but I think you have stories to tell me too." The girl grinned, and the other children crowded closer, their voices a chorus of excitement that sent a thrill through Tenzin's chest. Have you ever felt the joy of connection spark so suddenly it feels like magic? The day unfolded in a blur of moments, each one vivid, alive, pulsing with the same energy she'd felt in her teacher's presence. She listened as the children spoke of their dreams, their fears, their small triumphs. A lost goat found, a prayer learned by heart. She sat with the women as they spun wool, their hands moving in rhythms as old as the mountains, their laughter weaving stories of love and loss. She joined the men in repairing a stupa, the whitewashed stone warm under her hands. Each turn of the prayer wheel a silent vow to carry this moment forward. Every interaction felt like a gift, a piece of the vision made real, and with each one, her heart swelled. A dopamine-fueled fire that made her want to stay, to dive deeper, to never leave this place. What would it be like to live every day like this? Every moment a step on a path that sings. As the sun began to dip, casting long shadows across the valley, Tenzin found herself at the edge of the village, where a small stream ran, its water catching the light like liquid stars. She knelt by it, her reflection shimmering, and for a moment she saw the pool from her vision, the one that held the faces of countless beings, all connected. She closed her eyes, and her teacher's voice echoed, soft but clear. "Be here. Love here." The words were a current, pulling her deeper into the moment, into the truth that this village, these people, were not separate from her. They were the leap, the path, the offering. Her breath caught, a wave of gratitude flooding her, making her want to weep and laugh all at once. Can you imagine it? A single moment so full it feels like it could hold the whole world. But the day wasn't done with her. As she rose, a young man approached, his face shadowed with worry. "Jetsunma," he said, his voice hesitant. "My mother is sick. She won't eat, won't speak. Can you help?" His eyes held a plea that pierced her, and she felt it again, that spark, that pull to act, to carry the light into the places where it was needed most. She followed him to a small house where an older woman lay on a pallet, her breath shallow, her eyes distant. Tenzin sat beside her, taking her hand, feeling the fragility of her pulse. She began to chant softly, the words of a healing mantra rising like smoke, filling the room with a warmth that seemed to soften the air itself. The woman's eyes flickered, meeting Tenzin's, and for a moment there was a spark, a connection, a thread of light. Have you ever felt a moment so fragile, so precious, it makes you want to hold your breath? The chanting grew, joined by the young man and others who gathered, their voices weaving a cocoon of sound around the woman. Tenzin felt the energy shift, a subtle lift, as if the room itself were breathing. The woman's hand tightened in hers, and a faint smile curved her lips. It wasn't a cure, not yet, but it was something, a spark of life, a moment of return. Tenzin's heart raced, not with triumph but with awe, with the realization that this, too, was the leap her teacher had spoken of, to sit with suffering, to offer presence, to love without grasping. This was the path. The room glowed with it, and she wanted to stay, to hold this moment, to let it carry her forward. Don't you feel it too? That urge to lean into the world, to give yourself to it completely. As night fell, the village grew quiet, the stars emerging like tiny lanterns in the sky. Tenzin stood outside, her breath visible in the cool air, her body alive with the day's moments. The children's laughter, the women's stories, the mantra's hum. Each one was a thread, weaving her deeper into the tapestry of the world. Her teacher's words echoed again, every step an offering. She felt it now, not as a command, but as a truth, a fire that burned bright within her, urging her to keep going, to see where this path led. The village slept, but its heartbeat pulsed through her, a rhythm she couldn't ignore. And you, can you hear it? That call to keep walking, to keep loving, to keep leaping into the unknown? The journey is far from over, and the next step is waiting, the eternal offering. The stars hung low over the valley, their light piercing the velvet dark like needles threading the sky. Jetsunma Tenzin Palmo stood at the village's edge, her breath a soft cloud in the crisp night air, her heart still racing from the day's encounters. The village slept, but its pulse lingered in her, a vibrant hum, a current of connection that made her feel as if she could reach out and touch the stars themselves. Each moment of the day, from the children's eager questions to the fragile hope in the sick woman's eyes, had woven itself into her being, a tapestry so vivid it seemed to shimmer within her. Have you ever felt so alive that the boundary between you and the world begins to dissolve, urging you to keep going, to see what lies beyond the next breath? She began to walk, not back to the nunnery but deeper into the night, following a path that seemed to call her forward, its curves lit faintly by moonlight. The air was alive with whispers, the rustle of leaves, the distant murmur of the stream, the soft chant of her own heart echoing her teacher's words. Let each step be an offering. The words were a rhythm, a pulse that synced with her footsteps, each one landing with a quiet thrill, as if the earth itself were responding. She felt it, a spark, a surge of joy that made her want to laugh into the night, to run toward whatever awaited. Isn't it exhilarating, the way a single step can feel like a leap into the infinite? The path led her to a clearing, where a lone stupa stood, its white dome glowing faintly under the stars. She paused, her breath catching as she recognized it. Not from the village, but from her vision, a fleeting glimpse among the clouds her teacher had shown her. The realization sent a shiver through her, not of cold but of wonder, a rush that made her want to kneel, to touch the stone, to confirm its reality. She approached, her hand grazing the smooth surface, and felt a warmth, as if the stupa were a living thing, pulsing with the prayers of countless hands that had touched it before. Can you imagine it? A moment so potent it feels like the universe is speaking directly to you, daring you to listen. She sat before the stupa, her body settling into the familiar posture of meditation, but her mind was far from still. It danced with images, the village, the faces, the pool of water from her dream, all woven together by threads of light. Her teacher's voice returned, soft as the night breeze. You are not alone. Every step ripples through all beings. The words were a spark, igniting a fire within her that burned with purpose, with love, with a longing to carry this truth into every corner of the world. She closed her eyes, and the clearing seemed to expand, the stars above merging with the golden light of her vision, the boundaries of time and space softening until she was everywhere and nowhere, held in the heart of existence itself. Have you ever felt so connected that you could almost hear the world breathing with you? As she sat, the night unfolded around her, alive with possibility. She saw the village again, not as it was, but as it could be. Children learning, women weaving dreams as well as wool, men building not just stupas, but bridges between hearts. She saw herself among them, not as a teacher but as a companion, a spark to kindle their own light. The vision was so vivid, so intoxicating, that she wanted to leap to her feet, to run back and begin right then. But her teacher's voice steadied her, not with effort, but with joy. The words were a reminder, a melody that slowed her racing heart, grounding her in the present while still letting her taste the future. What would it feel like to live each moment with such joy, to let it carry you like a river toward the sea? The hours passed, or perhaps they didn't. Time seemed to bend in the presence of such clarity. The stars wheeled overhead, and the stupa stood sentinel, its silence a song of its own. Tenzin felt the threads of her vision weaving tighter, connecting her not just to the village but to every being, every moment, every breath. She saw the sick woman's faint smile, the children's eager eyes, the old woman's knowing nod, and beyond them, countless others. Faces from lives past and yet to come, all linked by the same light. The realization was a rush, a wave of awe that made her want to cry out, to share this truth with the world. Can you feel it? That electric pulse when you know you're part of something vast, something eternal. As dawn approached, the sky softened, a blush of pink and gold spreading across the horizon. Tenzin opened her eyes, her body still but her spirit soaring. The clearing was the same, yet different. Every leaf, every stone, seemed to glow with the light of her vision. She rose, her movements slow, deliberate, each one a vow to carry this moment forward. The path back to the village beckoned, but it was more than a path now. It was a promise, a call to live the leap her teacher had shown her. She felt it in her bones, a fire that burned without consuming, a joy that made her want to dance through the world, offering every step, every breath, every heartbeat. Don't you want to know what happens when you say yes to such a call, when you let it remake you? As she walked, the village came into view, its rooftops catching the dawn like tiny flames. The air was alive with the sounds of waking, roosters crowing, voices rising in morning prayers, the clatter of life beginning anew. Tenzin's heart raced, not with urgency but with anticipation, a thrill that made her want to laugh, to embrace every person she met, to pour the light of her vision into their lives. The path was clear now, not as a destination but as a way of being. Each moment an offering, each encounter a chance to weave the world anew. She stepped into the village, her presence a quiet spark, ready to ignite whatever came next. And you, can you feel it? That pull to keep walking, to keep loving, to keep leaping into the heart of the world. The journey is yours now, and it's only just begun.